Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
And with that, guys, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share the video. It means everything to us small creators. And with that, what do we got going on tonight, my man?
For the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, it is the champion Magomed Ankalai versus the challenger Alex Poatan Pereira. Let's talk about it.
So, we've been here before. 6 months ago, guys, we were here at a similar fight. Obviously, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev in their first match. Magomed took that fight, dethroning the champion that had been defending his belt for quite some time. And listen, I'll be honest with you guys. As much as it pains me to say this, I think Magomed is going to take this one. Yes, in the first fight, Alex Pereira, too, I don't know why more people didn't bring this up, but he was actually able to stuff all the takedown attempts by Magomed Ankalaev. That right there is a testament to Alex Pereira's defiance of letting Magomed really take over the fight. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, Magomed did enough striking-wise to take it, and I do think the right decision was made on that night. But do I think that this time around Magomed is going to leave anything up to chance? I don't. I think if he didn't enforce his will takedown-wise in the first one, he's definitely going to try and do that in the second one. And this is definitely going to be the kryptonite to Alex Pereira's reign and defense of his title for the many years that he was champion. I think even striking-wise, obviously Magomed did phenomenally in their first match. But I do think Magomed just wants to put the final nail in the coffin in this story between him and Alex Pereira. And I think because I don't think he's going to leave it to chance. So I do think he's going to try and enforce his wrestling a bit more than he did it in the first match, despite the fact that obviously Alex stuffed all of his takedown attempts. Now, with that being said, Alex Pereira always stands a chance. He's got that phenomenal hook. He can obviously knock out anybody at almost any time. And because of that, I do think it'd be dumb to say that he doesn't stand a chance. I do think he does. But listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the stuff that's been going on. As far as Alex Pereira, there's clearly some sort of divide between him and the UFC. He himself, Alex Pereira, said that he thinks he made a mistake fighting as much as he did. That he had his gas on the pedal too much. So on and so forth, stuff like that. And even though I personally like Alex Pereira, one thing that he recently said is that he believes he wasn't even at 40% in his first match against Magomed. He says, if I'm even at 50% this match, I'll beat him easily. I don't think that's the case. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. If you were to ask me who's your favorite in this fight, I would definitely say Alex Pereira. But I want you guys to see, I am unbiased, and I want to be honest with you. I think despite me wanting Alex Pereira to win, I think the reality of the circumstances is Magomed has the exact tool needed to beat an Alex Pereira, and that's going to be the wrestling. It'd be foolish, in my opinion, because, listen, if Alex manages to get a hook in and manages to knock out Magomed, then people are going to start saying, now we need a third one. So I think in order to kind of put Alex Pereira on the back burner so that people don't keep asking for this fight over and over again, Magomed has to put a final nail in the coffin, and the only real way that he can do that is by enforcing his wrestling. So I think that's what's going to be the main tool. And listen, I'm not even mad at Magomed. I get it. I understand. Listen, you're champion. Your job as champion is to go in there and win. Ugly, beautiful, disgusting. It's your job to win the fight. And I think if he wants to win the fight, that's what he should do. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe Magomed picked up a little bit of confidence off the first one. And if he did and he tries to go in there and strike with Alex Pereira, while I do think he did good in his striking in the first one, I do think it was foolish it would be foolish of him to try and take that into the second fight. I think in the first fight, Alex Pereira was carrying the weight of being a champion on his shoulders. He was carrying the weight of thinking, oh man, this man's going to go in and shoot for a takedown, and I'm not going to be able to stuff it, which he stuffed it many, many times. So because of that, I think Alex also gained a little bit of confidence from that. So I think this time around, if Magomed decides to use wrestling more, I think he's going to be more successful in this fight than he was in the first fight. I'm never going to count Alex Pereira out. Again, all it takes is that one hook to land one time, and that can be potentially lights out for Magomed Ankalaev. And I would love to see that personally. If I'm being honest with you guys, I would love to see that. But the reality of the circumstances is Magomed Ankalaev is more than likely going to enforce his will via the wrestling. he should do something like smothering him, taking him deep waters, gassing him out, because Alex Pereira has been known to gas out, especially in the later rounds. So I think that's going to be the key to Magomed winning. Alex Pereira's key to winning is keeping it on the feet, stuffing all the takedowns much like he did in the first fight, and hopefully being a little bit more aggressive this time around. When in the first fight, I do think that Alex Pereira got caught once or twice from Magomed to the point where he looked a little rocked. Not like he was going to go down, but he looked rocked. And I think because of that, obviously, Alex Pereira was wary of seeing that come back at him, getting potentially knocked out. But listen, big dog, I'm not going to say it's going to be your last chance, but at least for now, at least for the immediate future, this is your last chance at the title. So I think he needs to be more aggressive. Listen, if he's more aggressive and Magomed meets him in that aggression, I think Alex Pereira can take it. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a Magomed win via unanimous decision by the end of the fifth round. Obviously, and I think that's going to be the story of the night. Magomed enforcing his wrestling on Alex Pereira, and that's going to be the key to victory, and that's exactly what's going to happen, with obviously some striking mixed in by both of these individuals, because Magomed still wants to prove that he's that guy, and if he outstrikes Alex Pereira, he can say, I'm that guy. What do you think about that, my man?
Before we were shooting this podcast, I'd actually asked my co-host over here, when was the last time they fought? Me thinking that it was a year ago about the last time that they fought. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, a year is not that much time to learn some takedown defense, at least on Alex Pereira's end. But then he said it happened in March. They were actually fighting March of this year. And I'm like, okay, if 1 year isn't enough to learn good takedown defense, 6 months isn't anything. 6 months is barely enough time to start picking up habits on takedown defenses. Now, again, you wanted to give Alex Pereira some credit for stuffing most if not all the takedowns by Magomed Ankalaev. I would also want to give some credit to Ankalaev on that, because he was able to outstrike Alex Pereira, and again, that's what got him the win in the first place. But yeah, if the best that Alex could do was block most of Ankalaev's offenses, and he still came out losing, I'm going to say, yeah, it's not exactly looking great in this fight, especially if you only have like about 6 months to prepare any sort of takedown defense, which again, that's Ankalaev's bread and butter. And if he didn't win with his bread and butter, I can only imagine what he's actually going to do in this second fight. Now, again, to give some credit, again, like you said, Alex Pereira was holding most of UFC on his back, saving about 4 pay-per-views, if my count serves correctly. And he said he was coming in pretty weary on that. I'm willing to believe Alex Pereira on that. I mean, there is some credence to that argument, at least as far as Alex Pereira goes. I do think he didn't respect Ankalai quite enough, or at least he didn't respect his wrestling acumen, or even his striking enough in this instance. So I think there's a little bit of a give and take here, where you can give credit to Alex for coming in not on his best day, but at the same time, you can also fault him for not giving Ankalaev the benefit of the doubt. And again, that's what got him to lose the championship belt in the first place. And again, Ankalaev was most of the aggressor during their first outing. And I have no doubt that that's going to change this time around. But I do think, yes, he's actually going to rely much more on his wrestling. And I do think, again, like I said, 6 months isn't enough time to prepare a good takedown defense for Alex Pereira. And I think Ankalaev's kind of banking on that, and he's actually going to take him down for real this time. Again, if Ankalaev was able to win on striking and not his wrestling, I can only imagine what his wrestling's going to be like on this second go around. So personally for me, while I don't think it's going to be a dominant performance from Ankalaev, I do think it is going to be one that's going to stamp out Alex Pereira for good this time. And fortunately for me, is again, as an Alex Pereira fan, it's heartbreaking, but again, I'm a fight fan first and foremost before I'm one person's sole hardcore fan. I would appreciate a good fight, and I'm going to see out of both these gentlemen. But again, as much as I'm a fan of Pereira, I gotta be ruling this. He didn't look that great in the first outing, and I doubt he's gonna look any better in this second time around. A little harsh but true, but what do you think about that?
Now listen, there's a reason that we are the most unbiased podcast when it comes to sports in the game. Listen, again, we both like Alex Pereira. If we could, he'd be our pick to win. But the facts are the facts, whether we like him or not. And listen, Magomed, as he said, looked good in Pereira's game, in striking in the first one. He outstruck him. That being said, again, imagine if he could institute his wrestling, which I do think he's going to do this time around, because I do think Alex Pereira has gotten a little cocky. We've seen him been flexing a lot of the cars, a lot of the watches, a lot of different things that he's been buying. He's enjoying the lifestyle, as he should, mind you. I'm not mad at him for doing so. But with that comes a little bit of the mentality of, listen, you start to get a little soft. So that being said, I do think Magomed is going to be the one that's going to take this fight. I like Alex Pereira, greatly phenomenal fighter, held up the division, saved many UFC pay-per-views. But facts are facts, and circumstances are Magomed Ankalaev is going to take this fight via unanimous decision in my mind. I do think he's going to look good. I do think Magomed is going to look good in this fight. I think he's going to enforce his will on Alex Pereira, and I think that's going to be the end of Alex Pereira getting a shot at the title, at least, for a little bit. Maybe sometime in the next year or two, maybe he'll get another shot, even though he is a little bit older. I think he's 37, 38 now. But listen, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a great fight, great card, stacked card, 2 other fights that we just did a video on as well. Go and check those out, guys. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.